All right, thank you, Efren. Now let's talk Election Day. Once again, we're talking about the primaries and looking ahead to tomorrow's runoff election. There are a couple of races that you need to take your eye on. So News 19's Zoe Henry spoke with the candidate for the Republican race for the Superintendent of Education.
People will be heading back to the polls tomorrow for the runoff election, and one of the hot races to look out for is the Republican nomination for Superintendent of Education here in South Carolina, and that's between Kathy Maness and Ellen Weaver. I spoke to both of them today, and this is what they had to say ahead of the runoff election tomorrow. Ahead of Tuesday's runoff, News 19 sat down with both Republican candidates to talk about their take on important issues impacting South Carolina education. The first issue was school safety.
Also have to improve school safety in South Carolina. I don't ever want what happened to Texas to happen in South Carolina. So right after I'm elected, we'll be bringing together a group of police chiefs, sheriffs, SROs, and we've got to talk about what we have to do to keep the students, teachers, and staff in our public schools of South Carolina safe.
So I've already been talking with law enforcement officers around the state to understand what we can do to better secure our schools. I'm also proud of the fact that I have worked with Governor McMaster and members of the General Assembly in their expansion of the School Resource Officer program.
Next was their plans to improve education standards in South Carolina schools.
The fact is that too many of our children aren't reading and doing math on grade level in South Carolina. We have got to have a laser focus on the basics, especially literacy.
I want to make sure that every student that graduates from the public schools of South Carolina are ready for the 3 E's: enrollment, enlistment, and employment.
Both Maness and Weaver say there's a teacher retention problem and explain their plans to keep teachers in the classroom.
We must recruit and retain teachers. We have to have a quality teacher in every classroom in South Carolina. So we got to get them in there, and then we have to keep them.
I know teachers just have a heart to teach, and that's what they want to do. So we've got to change our culture in our classrooms, get a hold of the discipline situation that we have. And I'd like to see us get our teachers to the national average in pay in the next 5 years.
Polling places will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Tuesday. In Columbia, Zoe Henry, News 19, WLTX.
All right, thank you, Zoe. Meanwhile, people voting in the Democratic runoff can pick between Catherine Fleming Bruce and State Representative Chrisley Matthews in the U.S. Senate race, challenging incumbent Republican Senator Tim Scott this fall. And if you are looking for specifics, we do have a county-by-county list of races in tomorrow's runoff on our website, WLTX.com.